What's up, Goon Squad? General Goon back again with another banger story time for y'all. Today I'm going to be telling y'all the story of my second time fucking with a trans girl. That's right. 2 weeks after dropping my story time video on my first time with a trans girl, I wound up linking up with another one. If you ain't seen that already, go watch it. I'm going to leave the link in the description. For those of y'all who have seen it, this girl wasn't a content creator like that girl was. She ain't got no Twitter or OF or none like that. I'd actually been trying to this girl for like 4 years. No, but we'll get to that. Oh yeah, and I ain't paid this time, so you can stop clowning me for that, Chloe. I ain't a loser. Well, I ain't as big of one anyway. Wait, actually, I kinda did pay, but we'll get to that too. I originally wasn't gonna make this video because, I ain't gonna lie, I low-key wanted a relationship with this girl, but I don't see that happening anytime soon, so we good to go. Anyway, get your popcorn or your blunt ready, cause we finna dive straight into this one.
So this story begins all the way back in 2021, when I was 16 and still in high school. Man, how time flies. At this time, I've been to trans girls for about a year now, and I was eager to with one in real life. I never even as much as spoke to one before. I can't remember exactly how I found this girl's Instagram, but it was probably in the suggested account section. I used to stay following all the bad that would come up on that. Y'all know that one homie you had in high school who would follow literally every girl in your city? Like every time you'd meet a new girl or some and you'd get her IG, that one homie would somehow already be following her. Well, that was me. And now that I think about it, that's still me, dog. I mean, how do y'all think I'd be knowing every single trans girl on Twitter? But anyway, I found her one day, and I say her, but actually, and I don't even think she remembers this, but I first started talking to her when she was still just a femboy dressing up and wearing wigs and like she still had her boy name. I ain't even lying, bruh. I don't even think she knows right now that I know what her boy name was, LMAO. But yeah, as soon as I found her, I was blown away immediately. She was still like a couple months away from actually transitioning, but she still looked bad as f.
She was a little younger than me, and she was petite too. This girl had to be about 5'1" at most. This was the first trans girls I'd ever came across that was around my age, bad, and lived like relatively near me. She was from the city right next to mine, so I was interested immediately. I hit her up and I got her snap, and let me tell y'all, I locked in. I did not want to even risk fumbling this girl whatsoever. I was spitting my best game, and that was working. I know I had her on Water Park, cause she got buttoned immediately and started sending me the she ain't get it out though. I learned very quickly that this was one of those girls who hate their and don't use it for like to this day, she gets sick to her stomach every time I even mention it. But she did send me this one photo of her bent over in her bathtub with her dangling. And bro, those were enormous. I was blown away. I'm talking she put pink Lex to shame. If you know, you know. But yeah, she had a pair of eggs on her for real. I'm talking golf balls, and they were heavy like them too. I was thinking, damn, if her was this big, I wonder how huge her meat gotta be. She must have a python. It was this one mirror selfie on her Instagram too, of her as a boy, wearing none but boxers, and that bulge was bulging, I'ma say that. And that only made me fall for her even harder, bruh. She always kept saying her was small though, but I knew she was just saying that cause she didn't want to sound manly or something, and admit that it was actually like 8 inches. She was definitely slanging.
We was talking like every day for the next few months. She would send me pics like every night, and I was going to bed at night dreaming about digging in her little white boy. I was loving her for real, and I f***ed up because I was showing it. Like she definitely could tell I was obsessed with her for real. Like I'd be texting her in the morning at school and waiting for her replies. Just doing too much, bruh.
I can't remember exactly what we talk about because this was like nearly 5 years ago now. But eventually, when it came to us talking about Lincoln, she was like, oh, I don't really ever meet anyone. I'm not ready to meet you right now. I'll meet you like after New Year's in like January or something, after I get blah, blah, blah and do blah, blah. And bruh, mind you, it was like October or something at this point. I was like, what you mean? Why? And I was trying to convince her, but she was standing on what she said. I should have just been like, aight, and fell back. But I was in love with this girl for real, and I wanted to badly, so this pissed me off. Now, I'm not proud of what I did next at all. I'm ashamed of it in all honesty, but I gotta keep it real. I crashed out on her, bruh. I mean, I really lost my I was like, do you know how fine I am? Do you know how many I got? Do you know how many want me? I can walk out my door right now and go outside and pull any I want. You think I'm waiting 3 months to you? A boy? You a whole boy. I don't even know what I was thinking trying to with your ugly ass anyway. And hella more mean and transphobic. I was going in on her. Just doing way too much. Like I really was probably in tears typing that shit with my gay ass.
I'd never act like this nowadays over any other girl, but bruh, I was down bad for her. I liked this girl to the point that hearing her even talk about having with anyone else made me feel pressure in my chest. That kind of down badness, bruh. But this wasn't even really heartbreak. I'd never even met this girl before to be acting like that. I'd been through real heartbreak before that was way worse than this. I probably won't tell that story on this channel, because it ain't got nothing to do with trans girls. But yeah, my goofy really caught feelings over Snapchat, dog. If y'all seen her though, y'all would understand. She really was, and still is, some else. But anyway, after that, we of course stopped talking. Until a year later, when I started going to college in her city, and I saw her one day. I was downtown, and I seen her walking towards me with one of her friends. I was thinking, no way is that who I think it is. I was staring at her with the biggest smile on my face, and she was smiling back too. Like she even turned around and kept smiling at me after she walked past me. I was too shocked to say something though. After she was gone, I was in a daze, thinking about her for the rest of the day. I ain't even gonna lie. When I got home that night, I hit her up like, "Hey yo, I can't believe I saw you today." And she was like, "Oh my God, I knew that was you." And we started talking again for a little bit, but nothing happened. Then we ain't talked for like another 2 whole years, till I had a dream one day that I woke up and she was on her way to my house. But when I went downstairs to answer the door, I woke up. And y'all already know that when you have a dream about someone, it don't even matter who it is. It could be the most chopped of people. You wake up in love with that person for some reason. And that's exactly what happened this day. I went to hit her up immediately. By this time, she changed a lot. She'd gotten like way more feminine looking and got on hormones and all that shit. She had a job now too. She was working as a beautician. She had like a meal on TikTok or something now too. She had a little clout. She also had gotten a little taller. Back then she was like 5'1" or something, but now she was about 5'5/5'6". I called her while she was at work, and I told her about the dream, and she was like, "What the That's weird. Why'd you have a dream about me? We haven't spoke for years. Do you stalk me or something?" And yeah, I forgot to mention, I low-key had been. I'd been gooning to her TikTok and IG that whole time for real. I lost her notes. I deleted all the in my phone the day I turned 18, cause I ain't want CP on my but I still remembered how big her nads were, and that had me bricked every time I just saw a photo of her. I ain't even lying. We started back talking and catching up and this time, I actually got really close with her, I ain't gonna lie. We'd be on the phone for hours and hours some nights, and I got to know a lot about her. I definitely had the game up. Like, this is not what you're supposed to be doing at all if you're trying to hit. But honestly, I with her as friends too. This was the first trans girl I'd ever spoke to after all. And at this point, we'd known each other for like 4 years. We had some history. And she was pretty cool too. I still would always try and get her to link though, but she never would want to come meet me. I also forgot to mention, by this point, this girl had became a bop, bruh. She be going to all the EDM events, and she be in the club like every week. And even though her body count only like 4 or some, she told me she's like 25 plus in her lifetime, bruh. One thing I can say about her though is, she don't do drugs, at all. Like, a girl like this you'd expect to be snorting and all that type of shit every weekend. But she actually not with that stuff, at all, which I like a lot. But yeah, over 25 is insane though. And she always be telling me how her throat game is insane, and she be having dudes' toes curling and meat exploding. And I used to be getting jealous, I ain't even gonna lie. I know what y'all thinking. General, you lame as hell. This was really letting everybody accept you. And I don't know what to tell y'all. Y'all right. I don't even know why for real. It could just be because I'm a chronic and a chronic smoker. Those two things up your riz the most. Or it could be because I'm low-key about them. Like, I be trying to these trans and cis girls and while knowing that I love huge, veiny, uncut girls. It don't make sense for real. But honestly, I think it was just because I had genuine feelings for this girl. I'm sure all men can relate to this, but when I really got genuine feelings for a girl, I be acting goofy for real. I always flop. I don't even know how I had feelings for this girl anyway, knowing how big of a she was. Nah, that's a lie. I do know. I love her, bruh. I've been falling in love with my whole life. I'm always pulling innocent, virgin, wifey type girls. They be falling in love with me all the time, but they just don't do it for me, dog. It's the nasty, gobbling I be down bad for. I did genuinely like her, but I definitely did want to also, and badly. I was trying to make babies with her for real. I stayed trying to imagine what her snake looked like too. If I had a list of the trans girls I desperately wanted to make OFs, she'd be in the top 3, no doubt. Oh, and this girl low-key got an aggressive side to her too. She got like 2 pending assault charges right now. She been in jail, and so I knew she'd be the best top, bruh. I used to be dreaming about her little digging in my shit for real. Man, if she see this, she gonna be mortified. But yeah, I kept on and kept on trying to get her to slide to the crib, even offering her Ubers straight from her crib to mine, but she was not going. She'd always be talking about some, who do you think I am? I am not coming to your house the first time we link. Take me on a date or something. And I've always been against taking on dates. I always felt like that's some sucker. But for her, I probably would have done it. My broke ass may have no car or no funds though, so that weren't happening neither. But anyway, in the end, everything I did ended up working. Cause one day, after a year and some change of trying, she finally gave in and decided to link with your boy. This took place about 2 months ago, right at the start of October of this year. This day, I just finished and busting a fat, and I mean a fat. I'm talking about digging in my butt, spraying everywhere kind of. The kind where my shouldn't be able to get hard for like the next 3 days. When out of nowhere, she hit me up. I don't even know how I knew, but I knew what she was about to say before I even opened the message. I knew today was the day. And like the weeks leading up to this though, she had started to sound more down. When I offered her Ubers, she'd be like, you know, if you asked me earlier today, I actually would have came. I was so bored. And like that. And she'd be like, let me see what I'd be coming for. And I'd send her the best pics I could take and make sure my looked as big as possible to make her want to slide even more. But also, around this time was when I started managing and I was racked up. So that probably made her want to with me more too. But anyway, I opened up her message and she was like, hey, what you doing? And I was like, none you. She was like, Uber? And I was like, you for real? And she was like, yes. I've got this bottle of Chardonnay and I don't want to drink it by myself. You need to help me. And I was like, bet. And I got up immediately, wiped it off myself, and jumped straight in the shower. I was low-key pissed that she picked today of all days to let me but I was still hyped that I was finally finna get to hit, or at least get slurped up. I jumped out the shower and cleaned my room. I had that sparkling and smelling incredible, and I told her to let me know when she was ready for me to call the Uber. I ended up paying like $100 for that, but I didn't give a. This was a day I'd been waiting for a long time. I would have paid $200 for that for real. She was like, we're not doing anything, by the way. And I was like, of course not. But really, I was thinking, yeah, I've heard that one before. She was in the Uber for like an hour, and when she finally pulled up, she jumped out the car, and she looked bad as. She smelled good as too. I remember giving her a hug and just smelling warmth and love and compassion. I didn't even know those things had smells, but bruh, that was just how good she smelled for real. She was glazing your boy too. She was like, oh my God, you look good. I like your outfit and your shoes, and that skull cap is nice too. And I was thinking, yeah, I'm definitely getting some tonight. We got to my house and got in my room, and we sat on my couch and started talking. Then I went to my kitchen and I got us glasses with ice for the wine. We started sipping that. Well, I started sipping. I ain't really a drinker, but she was down in that like a middle-aged alcoholic housewife. I could tell she was finna be as when it started hitting her. Then we got in bed and got comfy and started watching some bullshit on Netflix. I was genuinely tired because I had already smoked, and now I was low-key drunk. I was for real trying to in the morning after I'd recharged a little. But when she seen me falling asleep, she grabbed my meat and started kissing me. Then she pulled my boxers off and started giving me the craziest neck I'd ever received in my entire life. I ain't even lying, bro. This was that 2019 Ash Cash level neck, bro. Nah, she put Ash Cash to shame. She was slurping and gagging and throating my like there was no tomorrow, doing tricks on my for real. She had my eyes rolling back, and when my pupils were finally able to return to their normal position and I could look down at her pretty face slurping on my her cheeks was all sucked in like they was vacuuming my I ain't never seen any girl do that before in my life, bruh. She was giving me eye contact while I was in her mouth, too, and it just made me melt, bruh. I don't know how, but these trans girls got the craziest neck game, yo. I'm pretty sure it's because they got themselves, so they know what's finna feel the best. But yeah, this was some generational neck. My ancestors could probably feel this. That's how fire it was. And mind you, I had already busted insane today, but she still had my toes curling, which is a crazy accomplishment. But it gets even better. She was licking and caressing my too. Some real wife type activities. Like I for real thought about proposing when she started doing this. And then she started licking my gooch too. And I fell in love all over again. That felt amazing. I was feeling tingling sensations all through my entire body. But then I thought, wait, this could get even better. I stopped moaning for a minute. Yes, bro, this was so good, I was moaning like a little and I pushed her head down a little, and I was like, lower. And she popped her head up and was like, lower? And then she lifted up my legs and started eating the out my. I'm talking, she was tongue deep, making out with my. She was eating my cake like it was her birthday. This was my first time getting my date, and I was in pure ecstasy. I had never felt a feeling so amazing in my life. And then she stuck her fingers in my and started licking my while my at the same time. They got too much for me, and I just exploded, bro. And she caught all of it in her mouth like a good girl and swallowed my too. And she was like, you taste good. And I was just speechless. I felt like a cow. I'd just been milked for real. Completely drained, bruh. I was thinking, this was worth that $100. She was trying to kiss me and shit afterwards, and I was like, nah, you tripping. After she hit some mouthwash, I did let her though, with my goofy ass. After we got cleaned up, we went to sleep, and I slept like a baby. I'll tell y'all that for a fact. The next morning we woke up, and I don't know what it is, but every time a girl sleep in my bed, I wake up forgetting they there. So when I woke up and seen this bad in my bed, I was happy as I was cuddling her. We got up and brushed our teeth. Then we went and got McDonald's breakfast, cause it's like a 5-minute walk from my crib. That was ass though. As we was walking back to my house, I started devising my plan. Now that she was finally at my house, I had to make my dreams come true. It was now or never. Before she left my crib, I was either gonna frot with her, suck her, stroke her, or at the very least, just get a glimpse of it. At this point, it'd been 4 years and I'd never as much as seen it. And boy, had the anticipation been killing me. This was a day I'd been waiting for nearly a quarter of my entire life. I was making this happen today by any means necessary. When we got back to the crib, we was chilling, talking and watching TikToks and shit, and even making some. And eventually, we got in that mood again. We started kissing and shit. But this time, as we was in the middle of making out, I took my chance and I reached down to grab her. But anyway, this video getting a little long. I'm gonna have to leave it here, and I'll tell y'all the rest of the story in part 2, cause it get crazy after this. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like if you did, and subscribe to stay tuned. Part 2 finna be dropping real soon. General Goon, signing out.